Well, let's talk to Paul Kelly. He's a turkey farmer. The farm has been in Paul's family for 52 years. And we have this plan now from the government, from Steve Reid, who is the Environment Secretary, that a tenth of farmland is to be axed for net zero. This is in England, to be diverted towards helping to achieve net zero and protecting wildlife by 2050. 9% of farmland will be needed to be removed from food production by 2050 to meet green targets. A further 5% is expected to be mostly taken out of production owing to a decreased level of food output, and another 4% will share space with trees. Paul, is this a good idea?
Well, it's a very sweeping statement, isn't it, to say 10% of land taken out of production. And if it was productive land, truly productive, fertile land taken out of production, absolutely, it's a terrible policy. And so it's getting the balance right. We all know we need renewable energy and looking after biodiversity. That's important. But I think the foremost and first most important thing for this country is to provide food for the nation and having food security. So
is that put at risk by this? Is food security put at risk by this? Because I think there are a lot of people worried about the fact that we don't produce enough food. We obviously import a lot of it as well. We may well be forced into a position to do that more. And are we leaping towards net zero in a way that is perhaps unsafe in regard to food safety? What do you think, Paul?
Well, that's exactly right. You know, what we can't be doing is having supermarkets be short of food on shelves. So it's making sure that any land that is taken out is infill, grade. You know, the planning policy has to be very careful, and farmers do need to be consulted on it. The shame of it is, of course, is that electricity is more having a solar farm is more profitable than producing food. And that's because food is genuinely too cheap.
What would you do, Paul, if someone came up to you and said, right, we want to buy a tenth of your farm because we want to put solar panels on it? Would you say, great, that's fine, very happy to take your money, or would you say no?
Well, a lot of people are doing that because the money is, farming isn't very profitable. That's the problem. And of course, they can actually put it into solar farm and take the money and not have to worry about farming anymore. That is the shame of it in terms of, as I said,
but the value, as you also intimated as well, for consumers, we're going to be in a situation where many of them are food prices are going to go up. But maybe food prices should go up. Maybe you would say that anyway, would you?
Well, I'm actually a turkey farmer first and foremost, so actually we can actually put turkeys under solar panels, so it kind of works for us.
Ah, okay. You can do both.
We're not putting any land into solar panels. No, we're keeping the woodland for the turkeys. But it's getting the balance. We do need more homes. We do need renewable energy. We do need biodiversity. So taking land out that isn't productive, absolutely, I think there's a great case for that. But taking good fertile land that will grow vegetables, crops, wheat, barley, etc., that is crazy.
How much unfertile land is there, do you think? I mean, how much do you think could be safely taken away if they said, right, we're going to take some of this land that is not efficient, we're going to take it away and put solar panels on it? What would you be sort of happy with, I suppose?
Well, that percentage, well, I really don't know. I mean, but 70% of all the land in the UK is farmland. Yeah, so it's finding that not productive. You do have a lot of land on hillside for gruff grazing, for commons, for pastures. You can look at a lot of common land, but people don't want to be walking through solar panels with their dogs, do they? And farmers don't want to be taking good fertile land out of production.
And you think the unsightly nature of solar panels, for example, could put people off as well?
Yeah, I know,
is that what people are worried about and thinking about rather than necessarily longer term benefits?
For sure. I mean, we've got a big solar farm going up right next to my house, and I'm going to be driving past it every day. We have one locally that I drive past, and it is unsightly, but you do get used to that. And then, of course, you have got to think of the upside. It is renewable energy, producing electric that's not using fossil fuels. So, we can't be stubborn about the situation because we do have to produce renewable energy.
But do you think we're moving towards it too quickly? I mean, net zero is changing so much about our society. It's changing so much about our economy and the way we work and live. I just wonder whether farming will perhaps see this as a shot in the arm, maybe using money for other bits of farming, or whether a way of life could actually die out to some degree.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to go that far because the reality is, I think wind farms and nuclear is a far better, more efficient way of producing electric. That's for sure. Yeah. So the solar farms is an easy fix in the short term to meet those targets, because the technology is there now, the prices have come down, and they're relatively easy to implement versus nuclear and wind farms.
How many turkeys do you have, Paul?
We grow, of our super premium ones, we have 30,000.
30,000 turkeys, right? And is Christmas, is that the big time where you go, right, off you go? I'm afraid you're going onto the dinner tables, or are there other parts of the year where they head off to the across the Rainbow Bridge, shall we say?
Well, we're a breeding and hatchery company as well, so we're producing lots of chicks, about 100,000 chicks through the summer, and then we grow some for Christmas as well. So we're all about Christmas Day. Yes. So bird flu is another big story for us at the moment. I'm still sleeping at the moment, but it's a bit tough.
Why? Tell us about bird flu. What's happening?
Well, there's an outbreak. It's not as big as the 2022 outbreak, but it's worrying at the moment. I think we've had 24 outbreaks so far, and it's spreading.
And how do you contain that? How do you identify it and contain it?
You can't stop it. You can mitigate. You can mitigate risk by just better biosecurity. And we've got lockdown on all of our farms at the moment, so only business critical people go in, vehicles go in. Because the risk is there, and it's the wild bird population that's carrying the virus, and it's endemic in the wild bird population now. So, we're saying as an industry, either we have a vaccination program that we can use, but there's big trade issues there for export of meat, or we have to have a compensation policy that's fit for purpose. Yeah. Unfortunately, at the moment, they will pay farmers for turkeys, poultry that's alive when they come to cull the birds. But the virus is so pathogenic, it kills so quickly, there's nothing alive when they arrive. So
you often can't keep them alive long enough in order to get the compensation. How many birds is it affecting for you, Paul?
Well, we had in 2022, we had 30% of our turkeys gone. We lost 10,000.
Wow, okay.
From the virus coming onto the farm to the last, we had 2 alive after 36 hours.
Goodness me. That's a really, really difficult thing to deal with. And is it getting any better, or is this just going to continue to be a big problem for farmers?
If at the moment, they're neither making a decision on vaccination or there's no decision on the compensation scheme. So in terms of where the farmer sits, it's getting no better at all, because we don't know where we go. If the government really doesn't want to vaccinate, or Europe doesn't want to vaccinate, then we have to accept that. But to carry on farming, we need a compensation scheme that we actually get paid for what dies.
Paul, great to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed. That's Paul Kelly there. He's a turkey farmer. His farm has been in his family for 52 years. That's the story about the 10th of Farmland to be axed for net zero. This is a speech to the Royal Geographic Society. Steve Reid, the Environment Secretary, using the most sophisticated land use data ever published. He says we will transform how we use our land to deliver on our plan for change. That means enabling the protection of prime agricultural land, restoring our natural world, and driving economic growth.